Hello, Inedigabitti, this is Nocturne Gallery. You can learn something new about art in this video, or if you just want to enjoy the paintings and music, switch the audio track to Esperanto. There you'll hear only the music and see the artworks. Relax and enjoy art your way.
Okay, Claude Monet. I mean, it's one of those names everyone knows, right? Huge figure in art.
Absolutely huge. He wasn't just painting, he was fundamentally changing how people saw art.
So what's the core thing, if you had to boil it down?
Well, he lived from 1840 to 1926, a French painter, and crucially, he's known as one of the main founders of Impressionism, a whole new style.
Impressionism, that conjures up light, maybe water, flowers.
Exactly. And that brings us right to where we're going today. We're heading to Giverny.
Giverny, that's the place he made famous.
It really is. He moved there in 1883. He was 42 at the time.
So middle-aged, established artist moves out of Paris.
Yeah, about 60 kilometers out. It was a village. And this move, it was less about finding a view and more, well, about creating one.
Creating one, you mean the garden.
Precisely. He bought this house and land and just poured energy into turning it into this incredible, lush garden. Massive project.
How massive?
He had 6 full-time gardeners working for him.
6? Just for his personal garden?
Yeah. Flowers, trees, the pond. It was meticulous. People who visited, they often described it as, paradise or Eden. It was that extraordinary.
Wow. And the most famous part, the water garden, that wasn't even like right by the house.
No, it was actually behind it. He built it separately. He created this pond specifically designed for water lilies. That became his famous water garden.
And there's a specific look to it, isn't there? Something different.
Very different. It wasn't a typical French garden design. It was heavily influenced by Japanese art. Monet was a huge collector.
Oh, right. He had Japanese prints.
He did. Hundreds of them. Over 230, actually. Prints by artists like Hokusai, Hiroshige. And that aesthetic, the shapes, the balance, it really informed how he designed the pond and the whole water garden space.
And that mix of French landscape and Japanese design that leads to something very iconic, right? Over the pond.
The Japanese bridge, absolutely. That little wooden arched bridge.
Probably one of the most painted bridges in history.
Well, certainly by Monet. It appears in so many of his paintings from that earlier period at Giverny. There's a really famous one from 1899, for instance.
But then, didn't the bridge kind of fade away in his paintings later on? Like something else took over?
It did. The focus shifted. It really narrowed down onto the water lilies themselves, the Nymphéas, as they're called.
So when did that happen? When did this one pond become like his whole world?
It really started around 1898. That's when he became, almost obsessed with painting his pond.
Obsessed is a strong word.
But it fits. He basically dedicated the rest of his life to it, almost 3 decades, right up until he died in 1926, just painting that pond.
30 years on one subject. That's incredible dedication, or obsession, like you said.
It really is. And the scale of what he produced is huge. This Water Lilies series, the Nymphéas, it grew and grew. His final big project was a set of 19 enormous panels.
19 huge paintings of the same pond.
Yep. He called that the Grande Decoration, the Great Decoration.
So why? Why this one pond for so long? What was he actually trying to capture if the subject, the lilies, stayed the same?
That's the key. He wasn't just painting the lilies or the bridge or the trees. He was painting the light. The atmosphere.
The light on the lilies.
Exactly. And the light around them. He called it the envelope, the surroundings, the air, the atmosphere. He was fascinated by how light and weather constantly changed the appearance of things.
So the color would change constantly.
All the time. Depending on the time of day, whether it was sunny or cloudy, the color shifted. And his main subject really was the surface of the water, that mirror.
The reflections.
Yes. The water reflecting the sky, the clouds, the changing light. It was never still. Always moving, always different.
He was trying to paint something impossible then, something fleeting.
He actually said that himself. He admitted he was attempting the impossible, chasing a dream. He felt that a particular color, a particular light effect, it only existed for maybe 3 or 4 minutes before it vanished.
3 or 4 minutes? How on earth do you paint that? Especially these huge canvases.
Well, that's why he didn't just work on one painting at a time. He'd have dozens set up around the garden.
Dozens at once?
Yes. So as the light shifted, he'd literally stop working on one canvas and quickly move to another one that was positioned for that specific light effect he was waiting for. Then the light would change again, and he'd move again.
Like he was chasing the sun around the garden.
Pretty much, running from easel to easel, trying to capture those specific moments. It was an incredibly intense process.
Wow. And to think, this artist, doing this incredibly focused, almost scientific work. He wasn't always appreciated, was he, early on?
Oh, definitely not. Early in his career, Impressionism faced a lot of ridicule from the established art world. Conservative critics just didn't get it.
What did they say?
They called his work fuzzy, unfinished, said it looked like mere sketches.
They couldn't see past the brushstrokes to the effect he was capturing.
Exactly. There's a famous story. One critic said his paintings were like ugly wallpaper.
Ugly wallpaper. Ouch.
Yeah. Another one basically said kids could do better. Imagine putting all that effort into capturing fleeting light and someone says it's like wallpaper.
That's rough. How did he react to that kind of criticism?
Well, interestingly, he didn't just ignore it. He actually kept the bad reviews.
He saved them.
Why? He kept this collection of all the negative notices he thought were, small-minded or just plain wrong. It seems like it almost fueled him, convinced him he was onto something important, even if others couldn't see it yet.
So the ugly wallpaper guy kind of spurred him on in a weird way.
You could say that. And decades later, after all that struggle, he decides to make his ultimate masterpiece, the Grande Decoration, a gift.
A gift? To who?
To the French nation. After the First World War, he wanted these massive water lily paintings to be a monument to peace, to serenity.
That's quite a gesture. And you said they were huge.
Enormous. Some panels were 2 meters high, that's over 6 feet,
Right.
and maybe 5 meters wide. Really big.
Okay, 5 meters. That's like the length of a car. Where do you even put paintings that big? You can't just hang them in any old museum gallery.
No, you definitely can't. They needed a special home, and they got one. You can see them today in Paris.
Where in Paris?
At the Musée de l'Orangerie. It's right near the Louvre, in the Tuileries Garden.
And it's a special setup there, right?
It really is. They built 2 large oval-shaped rooms just for these paintings. That was part of Monet's vision, too.
Oval rooms. Why oval?
So the paintings curve around you. When you stand in the middle of the room, you're completely surrounded by the water lilies, by the reflections, the light. It's incredibly immersive.
Ah, so it brings that envelope idea, the surroundings, right back. You're literally inside the pond environment he created.
Exactly. You feel like you're standing right there at Giverny, enveloped by the water and the light he spent decades capturing.
That's an amazing journey. From this personal garden project in a small village,
to this massive 30-year artistic obsession.
ending up as this incredible immersive gift to the world in the heart of Paris.
And it's important to remember, too, the struggle involved in finishing them. Monet was dealing with illness, and his eyesight was failing badly near the end.
He was going blind while painting these.
Pretty much. He had cataract surgeries, but his vision was severely impaired. He was painting partly from memory, from this deep internal sense of color and light he'd absorbed over decades.
So he turned his own fading light, in a way, into this incredibly vibrant, peaceful art.
Beautifully put. Yes. Even though they were created during difficult times, personally, and, with the war, the paintings themselves radiate this incredible sense of peace and life.
It makes seeing them even more powerful, knowing that backstory.
It really does. So when you stand in those rooms at the Orangerie, remember you're not just looking at paintings of flowers. You're seeing a record of time passing, of light changing, of the sky reflected in water. It's all captured by an artist who felt nature so deeply.
That he spent half his life trying to hold on to those fleeting moments.
Exactly. And in a way, he succeeded. He created that world, that feeling, and it's there for you to step into even today.